Okay, well, happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, thank you. So honestly, I feel like this has been honestly years in the making where I've tried to reach out and um so I'm glad I finally got to do this with you. It's funny, I know people are like, is it the other dude? Is it Simon? I'm like, I don't know if he
I
does interviews.
know. I have to represent Simon and Milo today and Jay. Yeah, so Jay, so I'm in Toronto and Jay is in Brooklyn. And yeah, he also has three young children. So his time is, oh, yeah. So I'll be doing the interview today. But he
It,
sends his good vibes.
it's all good. I do want to get, of course, go back in time to like the beginning of your career, but I actually want to start briefly about a current thing because I posted recently how Prozzäk was signed or picked up by Pac-Man Artists, and I posted a
Yeah.
video about that, and it got a lot of attention. A lot of people were excited. I would like to hear from you if you can say anything. Does that mean about is that your new music coming, or what's the whole thing behind that?
Okay, so let's not bury the lead. Okay, so the good news is Simon and Milo will be back in 2026 playing live.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like I've been talking with Jay for a while and been trying to find partners like a good promoter or booking agent. And so yeah, we got approached by Aaron from Pacan, which is one of the bigger agents. Um, and just recently, and he really was a fan and wanted to get involved. And so I've actually been working on putting a tour together, and we're about to announce it. I wish we can't officially announce it yet. So today you're getting the scoop. Okay, no one else knows this, but I want everyone to know that Prozac is going to be on the road playing across Canada in 2026. And we may be playing some shows. We're headlining some. We're doing some co-headlining with another nostalgic artist from Europe that you may have heard of.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Not Aqua this time.
Okay.
So, we want Prozac. Okay, you want Prozac back in Ottawa? Boom, you got it. We're gonna make that
Done.
happen. Okay, but if you so whether it's Ottawa or wherever we're going to be playing, uh, you know, guys, whoever's listening right now and listening if we're playing it back later, we need you and all your friends to show up because there's nothing more depressing at this stage in my life if we do a show and then like it's not packed full of screaming fans that sing every word. so
Yeah.
so tell definitely once we do the announce, we'll definitely announce it on our IG. So just
Yeah.
keep an eye on that, and yeah, we'll take it from there. And you're asking about new music.
Yeah. Well, will there be new music?
Well, if a tree falls in the forest, John, and no one hears, did it really fall?
Oh
Think
God,
about that.
what are we? Is this like Philosopher Kings? Like, what are we doing here? No.
So I'll say this: Jay and I we both love Prozac, and we definitely have started writing some ideas. We've got some songs, so we would love to share some, well, at least one of them, if not more, in the new year too. So basically, I guess at this point, if people want to hear a new song, there will be a new song, and just keep your eye on our page.
Amazing. First of all, before I move forward, am I allowed to post that you guys are coming back, or should I wait to post that?
No, just post say unofficially or officially from me, but unofficially, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get you in trouble. That's all. That's all. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, it's okay. I'm not giving you all the details yet, but yeah, like
Yeah.
let us know where you want us to play and we'll do our best to play there.
Amazing. No, I really appreciate that, and that's exciting. And I will obviously pass on the message. But I do want to take it all the way back to what is it, Laura Secord Secondary, I believe.
Wow, you've done your research, sir.
A little bit. Can you talk to me about Airbands 89 and the Bampties?
Holy good God, you really have done your research. I was kind of kidding at the first mention of the school, but okay, now I'm impressed. Yeah. So air bands. I don't remember if that was the name of it. So maybe that was the Battle of the Bands at Laura Secord. The Bampties was the name of a cover band, like a high school band I had with a couple of friends, and my younger sister, Kinley, actually, who's like gone on to become like a yoga guru in her own right. Yeah, man, that was a fun show. But the craziest thing was, I was actually singing. I was singing like I think I sang "God Save the Queen" by the Sex Pistols, and I sang a Cure song like "Love Cats" or something. Anyway, and "She Sells Sanctuary" by who's that by? Okay, '80s band. Anyone out there remember that? Anyway, it'll come back to me. But yeah, yeah. What about the show?
Oh no, I'm just curious about that time because it sounds like obviously this was pre Prozzäk and Philosopher Kings. So I just want to know if there's anything specific you remembered from that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started playing guitar when I was 9,
Yes.
and I was like playing like my parents had instruments, so I was like playing like the piano in our house and like hand drums and all kinds of stuff since I was like a toddler. So, but I want yeah, so I was in Bampties was like the second band I was in, actually the third. I was in a punk band when I was 12. I had discovered like the Sex Pistols and the Clash, and and so I met these two like 19-year-old punks in St. Catharines, and at the time they were probably like one like there was only a handful of people like with the mohawk and doing that whole thing, Doc Martens. So anyway, we formed a band, and actually I had to like teach them how to play their instruments almost, but it was pretty cool. But then yeah, Bampties came after that, and the drummer, super talented, Mark Deneo. Anyway, yeah, it was a good
What
time. But
about?
basically, it was
Oh,
like it's pretty typical. You start playing cover bands. I was writing some songs. Most of them were pretty trash. Um, and even when the Philosopher Kings formed, like Jay and myself knew we wanted to write songs, but we were. I didn't feel like I was a great songwriter at that point, and Philosopher Kings piano player John Levine, Jay's brother, and the singer, they had been writing like they wrote the bulk of the Philosopher King stuff at first, and then after a while, I was writing more and more, and Jay was writing, and but we weren't writing together. We wrote one song together, but we'll get to that
yeah,
anyway.
but also another band I want to bring up briefly. I don't know if this was the rest of the Philosopher Kings were in this band, but was it Sweatfish and the Architects?
The Architects of Rhythm. Yeah, yeah, I heard about this. So I was not in this band.
No.
This is like the this is like the founding few guys from Philosopher King. So John and Jay, Gerald Eaton singer, aka Jarvis Church, and the other guitarist, my friend Brian West, they all went to high school like in North York, Thornhill, North York and Toronto. And so yeah, that was their first band. It was mostly covers. I think maybe, and I think they did one Northern Ontario tour that they kept talking about. But the Philosopher Kings didn't really become what we were until I joined, and then first drummer Craig Hunter joined. Yeah,
Got you. Okay. Obviously, people want to talk a lot about Prozac, so we'll go a little bit into that, but also about yourself as a guitarist as well. First of all, obviously the name Prozac, it's from the drug Prozac, but like, why that name specifically?
well, at the time that was like the biggest antidepressant. So we were thinking, well, our music was like the sad songs. It was about heartbreak, mostly about where Jay was at that point. It was really autobiographical about like his search for love, unsuccessful search for love. And but the music we made was super happy always. So it's kind of like the musical antidepressant was how we thought of what we were doing. So Prozac just like felt like that was the best sounding name. And it was kind of cheeky to use that because we were hoping that like if we were big enough, then we would get sued by Pfizer, who owns Prozac. And unfortunately, we still haven't been sued by them. So I think so. Maybe we can still there's room to grow with Prozac.
Well, now that you're doing this comeback, now maybe you'll get their attention.
Hopefully, yeah, yeah. I don't know if people still use Prozac, the antidepressant. I'm not sure if things have moved on.
I'm sure there's way more now. Luckily, I don't know anything about that. But beyond Prozac, and something that I'd like to post over the years is reminding people not only the amount of work you put out as an artist, but as a producer and a songwriter. And what I love about Canadians, especially, is how much collaboration there is. So, of course, I know you saw a video I posted reminding people. Actually, no, the one I posted, I forget what it was about, but I just posted another video today talking about how, of course, for those who don't know, you guys produced and wrote for B44, this iconic
Oh yeah.
Canadian band, right? And it's funny because I listen back to your music, and at first I'm like, how do you come up with songs like, about oral sex? And then you listen to your music like Shag Tag and what's the other one? Oh yeah, I like to
I like.
watch.
Of
I'm like,
course,
of
you got to
course you
bring
would
that up.
write Get Down. So I would love you to take me inside the room with you with the guys of B44 and how that came together.
Okay, so the bottom line is Jay and I wrote that song. So,
Okay.
so basically, B44, three or two twins, Ryan and Dan, and their friend Ohad, with matching spiked hair, and they had that before we met them, and they sang really well together. They walked into Sony Records and demanded an audition, and we happened to be in the studio writing the same day. So the head of A&R, like Mike Roth, was super cool, and he was like, "Okay, I'll go out and check them out. They're in the lobby." And 10 minutes later, he brings them in to where we were, and he's like, or he knocked on our door and said, "Guys, can you check out this boy band? I'm thinking of signing them, but I need you to see if they're legit or whatever." And so they sang for us. I don't remember exactly. I think they probably sang like Boys to Men, probably. I'd say either that or like Backstreet Boys. Anyway, so they were definitely a force of nature in their own right when we met them, even just for the hair alone. Um, and then the brief was from me and Jay to like come up with some hits. So Get Down was the first one, and yeah, it literally was Jay and me looking at each other and like, okay, what if we wrote a song about oral sex? And that was the line, and then of course the song came out really easily. Yeah, but every time Jay and I write, like that's the one thing I still love to this day is that no matter how much we get on each other's nerves when we're not writing or making music, we absolutely have the best time whenever we're making music. It's like if we start like laughing continuously for 5 minutes, then we know we've got something special. And every Prozac song has had like that moment like that. Most of the, and same with that. So
I love that. Before we move on, I should also want to ask you before I forget, the song I Like to Watch, was that inspired by Right Said Fred, I'm Too Sexy?
good. Yeah, I would say you're right. And honestly, like the other part of it, like why did I write a song about like being obsessed with looking at girls bouncing? I still don't I don't know if I've really unpacked that with my therapist. So I think maybe there's I don't know because it's not really I don't as far as I know that's not really my thing. But it was just like a funny concept that seemed to be something that Milo. It's like okay, what would Milo be into? Because he's like so his secondary character to Simon, really. He's like there as his friend who's kind of got it together when Simon's kind of falling apart and very emotional and getting his heart broken. But this gives Milo kind of some weird little twist.
Fair enough. It is funny again going back to B44 how you guys produced for them and you were up for best producer at the Junos, but of course you lost to your fellow Philosopher Kings at Track and Field because they were producing with Nelly. I'm just curious after that happened, like did you talk to them right after? Were you kind of ribbing each other or how'd that work?
Oh man, I'd forgotten about that. Thanks, man. You're just pouring salt into an old wound.
Hmm.
Uh, no, you know what? Like Brian, one half of Track and Field, like he is to this day like one of my best friends, and so we're like collaborating all the time, still on the phone every week. And I actually worked on all of Nelly's stuff with them as well. Like that first couple records, like I played the guitar on that, on that first album, like Turn Off the Light and Like a Bird and all that. And so, yeah, I was happy for them. I would have preferred if we won, but I was happy for them.
Of course. I do want to quickly also, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but I spoke to a couple years ago Luke McMaster, who of course is a
Yes.
good friend of yours. the song that I know you've done probably a bunch of them, but Autumn Song, I love it. So love it.
Really? Oh, that's so sweet. So can I tell you? So Luke, so he was part of a duo, McMaster and James, way back when Prozzäk was touring, and so they opened up for us on one of our tours. And that's kind of where I first met him. And then I didn't actually meet him again for years until I moved to Hamilton briefly, and he was living there. And so he came over one day. We wrote Autumn Song. It was like very sweet. Yeah. See, the same guy that can write Autumn Song with Luke can also write I Like to Watch. I Like
I
the
love that.
Beats.
I love the versatility. It's amazing.
Or Overdrive with Drake.
Did I know that? I didn't know that, but that's amazing.
You didn't know that?
I don't know
Come
everything.
on. Um,
I'm sorry.
well, you should check that song out. I was really proud of how that one turned out. I was like, if I was going to write a song with Drake, that would be the one I would have, I'm happy to have written it with him.
Okay. I mean, I know you're. I think you're a pretty humble guy, and you don't want to kind of say, "Well, oh, I've worked with this person, that person." But just so I can remind people, do you mind giving just a little brief list of some, we'll say, Canadian artists specifically that you worked with, please?
Okay, so well, you mentioned B44, right? Jay and I produced that project. Both had #1 hits, thank God, with Get Down. Then we met Fifi Dobson when she was 15, and we made her first album together, which did was platinum as well, and I'm really proud of that. Working with Fifi, Divine Brown. I mean, I love a lot of soul music and R&B, and so at that time, I wanted to work with Divine, and co-wrote and produced her biggest songs, "Old School Love," if you remember that, and what's the other one from her second album, "Late on the Line." Maestro Fresh West. All kinds of, yeah. So it's like I've been so, Jack Soul. I was able to work with Hayden before he passed, and I really love the songs he wrote. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's so many people I've had the privilege of working with. So in Canada, that'd be some. Of course, we've got Shawn Mendes, another one. I played on his first album when he was like 15. And I've been able to go. Nelly was a huge one for me. Like I've been able to work with Nelly Furtado, like I said from the beginning, um, and then ended up touring with her on the Loose album around the world, and got to play like as her guitarist, playing like Wembley Stadium and Madison Square Gardens, and like fulfilling so many of my childhood dreams, which was awesome. And then I ended up producing her Latin Grammy-winning album, Me Plan. After that.
Yeah.
So, yes, I don't know. How do you want to keep going? There's
No,
a lot.
well, I know there's a lot more, but I'm curious. Were there any artists that you almost worked with, or you wish you worked with that never happened? Can you say?
Okay, I always wanted to work with Sade.
Okay.
Sade. She's one of my favorite artists. And
What about sorry, what about Kiss? I heard you're a big Kiss fan.
this is a cool story. This is again another reason why like a career in music just will take you to the weirdest places you'd never imagine. So yeah, Kiss was my first band I fell in love with when I was a kid because the cool makeup, obviously, and I want to rock and roll all night, don't you?
Yeah.
So anyway, so when I was a kid, my dream was, I want to like play with these guys or meet Gene Simmons one day. So then I was living in London making records and I made some with my friend Martin Treffy, great producer, who did like Jason Mraz's big hit, James Morrison, all these like kind of adult pop stars. And then he was doing an album with Engelbert Humperdinck, who is like a huge crooner from the UK. It's like Tom Jones and him, or he's multi-million selling. Anyway, he made an album where he was working with all these legends, including, and I played guitar on this whole thing. So, uh, including Lionel Richie, Dolly Parton, Elton John, like all these legends, and one of them was Gene Simmons. So I actually worked with Gene Simmons in the end. I still haven't met the guy, but we collaborated on a song together with Engelbert Humperdinck. And
That's
then I
ridiculous.
ended up and then I ended up playing with Engelbert Humperdinck at Eurovision Song Contest, representing the UK in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, no, ridiculous.
Not
And
only that, unpack that.
I only heard of Engelbert Humperdinck because of my dad, because he would introduce me to random artists. Like I say random. For my generation, he's considered random, although I'm an older
Yeah,
millennial, but anyways.
I
Uh
didn't know his material either. I didn't realize how big he was until I started working on the project. I'm like, what? It's like he was a household name. He was like hanging out with Frank Sinatra and Elvis, and in Vegas back in the day. That was his crew. So
yeah. Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
James, do you listen to Slipknot? Do you listen to Slipknot?
Slipknot. No, not really. I think it's too a bit too scary for me. But I do. I respect the costumes and their longevity. I
Yeah,
think it would be cool. That actually might be a cool bill. What do you think? A bill of Prozac and Slipknot. Would that be a
yeah,
good fit?
totally makes sense. Speaking of going back
Oh
to
yeah,
Prozac,
someone asked about Backstreet Boys. I did also work with Backstreet Boys. Yes.
of course,
Yeah.
how could you forget the biggest boy band ever? But going back to Prozac, again, I know people know you for your big hit songs like "Sucks to Be You," "Strange Disease," "WW Dot," all that. But one that I actually honestly recently discovered that I don't remember much is "Be As," and "Be As" to me really stands out for its message.
Yeah.
It's like be as white as you want to, be as black as you want to, be as gay or straight as you want to. Like really positive messaging. I think really was ahead of its time because I think it was like around 2000. I'm curious, was there a reason why you put that out at that time?
Yeah. I mean, Jay and I have always. I mean, we believe in just letting people be who they are, and supporting. Yeah, and that's still like a huge core value for me, and I think with Prozac too, it's like we've always felt like outsiders in a way, kind of just as kids, even though you know so I'm a straight white guy, and so whatever within my lens. But yeah, I always felt a little as an outsider, and certainly we've got friends that were, the victims of prejudice for whatever stupid reason. And yeah, everyone should be free to love themselves, and I guess that was clear to us back then, and yeah, we didn't realize actually how much of an impact that song had on people until we came back, started doing shows. Like once we started, coming back after 2015 and meeting our fans. And yeah, so now I really appreciate that. Yeah, at the time, it was a message that a lot of people appreciated. So I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. I'm curious because there's like in towards the end of the song, you hear like a bunch of kids. Most I think kids' voices, right? Where'd you get like where did you like reach out to people to get like those recordings?
We had friends, like family friends, and yeah, like the kids, yeah, in the middle, like, I'm Dave. This is, yeah, it's like, I'm from Vancouver. Yeah, we had a handful of younger kids come in. I know a couple of them were like friends of my family, like sister, cousin. Jay had like cousins, second cousins, stuff like that. Yeah, it was
Gotcha.
pretty, yeah.
Cool. And honestly, I feel like that would be, if you're not if when you go back on tour, I think that would be a song that you definitely should play because it's more meaningful than ever now, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, well, we absolutely will play that one for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that one is definitely always in the set now. You know
yeah.
what? One album I would like to highlight for people that haven't checked it out is Cruel Cruel World.
Hmm.
That's like the little known album that we did like right in the middle of the Napster era.
Yep.
When we did it was our first independent album, and it was like before streaming, so it's kind of got caught in a weird time, but it's you can if you go and find it, you can find it, it's on all the streaming and everything, and I think we'll probably put out some kind of vinyl version or Bandcamp version soon. Anyway, I love that album, and I really think those songs are like still like some of my favorite Prozac songs, so check it out.
Fair
Cool, cool.
enough. I do. What did I want to ask you about? Oh yeah, I love how well not I love. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up actually because You put out a recent album on your own as a solo artist, Viva La Vida.
Viva la vida, baby.
By the way, just like
Living
random
life.
question. Is that like, you can't get in trouble from Coldplay for that, can you? I don't know why. But
Well, why would you? No, because it's a Coldplay cover. That's why I cover that song. That's why.
not,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the,
That's why
not
I
the
named the
cover
album.
song, just naming, just that name. They wouldn't own the name, I guess, would they? No, or,
No, I mean that's a saying that
yeah.
is right. It's an Italian or ancient Latin, but yeah, "Viva la vida," live life. But no, I'm really proud of that album too. So like, I've been putting out guitar album music on and off since 2005 as well. Like that's just something my guitar side. I will always want to express that too. But it's a different vibe. Yeah, it's like you put on Prozac when you're ready to party, or maybe when you have a broken heart and you want to get to feel someone else that's been in there. And this solo album, I would say you definitely more chill. Put it on the morning after, or like if you're gonna try to go to sleep. But definitely check it out. I'm really proud of how it came out.
Yeah, no, I listened to it, and I always wondered, because you can answer this. Do you change the way you play a song when you're playing it like with lyrics and normally versus when you play it just instrumentally? Does it differ?
Well, if you listen to it, yeah, because I'm trying to make the guitar sing, right? Like, so I'm playing the melody that the singer would sing, right? So I'm
Sure.
playing all the parts. I'm like, and that's kind of what I love the challenge of doing that. My style of solo guitar playing, it's like band in six fingers, right? Or five fingers, yeah, six strings. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the melody's there, the groove is there, but yeah, and that's kind of the challenge. But I also want to stay true to the song, and I'm not trying to like not make it recognizable. Like I want people to, if they love that song, if you go check it out, Viva La Vida, you should recognize the song or any of the songs on there. Yeah, it's basically a bunch of songs that I have always loved, songs I wish I wrote. But just yeah, these ones are covers.
Someone said James worked with Martin Garrix. Did you?
Yeah. Oh, that was another cool moment. I haven't met Martin Garrix still to this day, but yeah, that's like a cool thing because I wrote the song "Sun Is Never Going Down" with a great singer from the UK, friend of mine, Jem Cook, and a couple of really good friends of mine from London, where I was living there. And basically we sat there and we're like, oh, let's try to write a song that they can play in Ibiza, right? Like, and I've never written that kind of. Well, actually, Prozac. I think we have some of those songs, but I hadn't, written anything since. And so, yeah, we came up with this idea: "Sun is never going down." Oh, oh, oh. And the idea always was to get like one of the producers that do that kind of music to take the song. And luckily, my publisher at the time, Sony, had a connection to his manager. He was able to get it directly to him, and Martin loved it. And so he took the song and made it. So he did the production on that one. But yeah, you can check it out. Yeah.
Love that. I also want to bring up, because this was a recent announcement at the Junos starting next year, which I'm hoping to attend. There's a new category, like a Latin category, and you've worked with Latin artists. I know, like Alex Cuba. You can say
Hmm.
Nelly, been there, and others, I'm sure. I'm curious, like your thoughts
Luis
on that. And
Fonsi would be another one.
yes, yeah, oh,
Luis
yeah. What did you do, with Louis?
Despacito fame. I mean, I worked. Yeah, I was privileged to work with him on a whole album.
Was that pre Despacito or after?
It was the album right before Despacito. So basically, it was the album we did where he wanted to take a left turn and do something like a little different, and then probably he did that album, got it out of his system, and he's like, okay, I need a global hit now.
No,
I
it
could have
was
given
because
him
of
that
you.
too. I would have. But anyway, yeah, yeah. He's a great, super talented artist and great person. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's great. That they actually are expanding some of the categories in Junos because there's so much Latin music made here, like by Canadians now. It's and all kinds of genres. I mean, if you think about like Punjabi meets Afro beats, like there's just a lot of people that live here in Canada that are making music that's global.
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever. I think that they still do a category for like for music video. And I bring up music video because, of course, you guys were known for your animations. And I love how you talked about in the past about how, Sony had this money because from Celine Dion, so they were willing to invest in you guys.
Yeah.
Can you can you say like how much would you say an average music video costs for you guys to make?
So back then,
Yeah.
like we're still paying for those videos. I think like the video would be like 100 grand, 150,000 Canadian for one video.
Damn.
So that's why, and it was at that point that animation was done by a whole team of like it was the office. There was an office in Toronto, got sent to LA, then from LA to South Korea, where actually it was drawn by hand. So it's cell animation. So it's like totally classic style. So compare that to like, okay, we Cruel World, we did one video and it was independent. And we worked with one of the guys that directed our older videos. He's super talented. Fred Wilmot, rest in peace, Fred. Um, and yeah, but that video costs like 10 grand.
Mm.
And then fast forward to Love Me Tinder from our last album. Uh, Again, we were able to work with a talented animator who, like these days, you can obviously do a lot more with, with one person. Um, anyway, so that one was even like half of that budget. So now I would love to make some new videos, and I think we definitely want to connect with animators. So guys, definitely DM us. Let us know. And also, I'm curious, like if the AI technology is helping things get easier or not yet, or I don't know. Anyway,
So I'm glad you brought that up actually, because like as an artist, AI is a big heated debatable topic
yeah,
now. Not only in the music, but let's say with music videos. So I'm curious,
yeah.
like you personally, and you can have your opinion, whatever it is, but would you want to use AI for a music video for animation?
I would rather use. Well, okay. So for me as a creator, like the thing I feel like I'm born to do is to communicate through music, make music, perform music, and like if I'm not doing that, I feel like I'm not living my life as I should fully. So I definitely do not want to let AI completely do that part of my job because that's the fun part, right? And the human part. So no, I wouldn't. I'm not ready to like to try to just pass that off. But obviously, we're all using it in different software in different stages, right? So there's like in mastering software, for instance, is getting to the point where like the AI assisted technology is pretty good. It's not as good still as a great mastering engineer. So anyway, I think it's definitely obviously it's here. It's new technology, and we're gonna use it in some cool way. But yeah, I'm not against it, but I'm not for it replacing human creativity.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer. For those who don't know, can you talk about the connection between your music videos and Canadian legend Anne Murray?
Yes, there you go. Anne Murray. Yeah, so that was like one of the first people I listened to as a kid too, I think. Uh, Great icon. Anyway, she was one of the owners of the animation house. That's what the name of the company was that we worked with on all our videos for the first album and second album. So again, I didn't get to meet Anne or Miss Murray, but yeah, so she was actually a big part of making those videos happen because she was like one of the main owners of this animation company.
Fair enough. I also think it was a very, I say it's a very savage move on your part to name your production studio or production thing after you punching, left hook, Jay.
I know. Yeah, we
Amazing.
had to kind of like, well, we had to own up to it. Now it's like a legend. Obviously, it's like we were not arch enemies, but we were opposite personalities in Philosopher Kings. Came to a head in a one punch fist fight, and that led to us getting in the studio and writing Europa. And that's, thank God that we were able to turn it into something beautiful. But
I love
left hook, yeah. So that's why. So we were kind of cheeky, you know, trying to own that a little bit.
I want to ask about Amabalashare. First of all, I think anyone who sees that word is like, what? Can't pronounce it at first, unless they know the song. But I love now knowing, I guess, the meaning it's behind. It's your wife's middle name, or no?
Yes, yes, it was Omabala Shere, my ex's middle name. Yes, yeah.
Gosh, it's
She
okay if you don't
was
want to talk about that.
no, it's a first of all, it's a beautiful name, just Nigerian name,
Yeah.
and it was so musical. It's like we are thinking of, that first album was Simon and Milo traveling the world, and so I think I suggested I was like, oh well, what if we are in Nigeria? Then what if, the princess is named Omabala Shere? And then just immediately, it's like we came up with that melody. Omabala Shere. Yeah. So I
Uh,
love that one. So yes, it's a real name.
did you record Hot Show, the album, on a 4-track cassette machine? Someone asked.
Interesting. No. But you know what? We did record it on 2-inch tape. So that's like classic. Yeah. So this is before Pro Tools. It was like right when Pro Tools was starting. They had this like in between technology. So basically, we recorded Philosopher King's first album and Prozzak's first album directly to 2-inch tape, and then for Prozzak, like that's the most organic analog sound you would get. Um, and so then what we did is we were like programming through an old Atari and then printing that to tape. So it was it wasn't quite cassette, but it was definitely a mix of analog and digital. And it gives the album a really cool sound for sure.
Love that. I want to get your just like your advice on playing guitar because I've never played, but I actually did see uh like an ad on the street recently, and it was like $79 for 3 lessons. I'm like, that's a great deal. Introduction. I want to. I actually reached out to the guy, so I'm waiting to start. But for someone who's never played, what would you give me some advice?
You think 3 lessons for $80? That's crazy. That's
I know. I like. I
he's
know
not
it's dirt
charging
cheap.
enough
I know.
for his time. Yeah, no. So first of all, for advice, like the cool thing is these days there's so many things you can learn through YouTube or online. Like there's a lot of cool tools, but it doesn't replace like having a connection with someone that can actually see you and work with you. So yeah, I think I'm glad like if you're reaching out to work with an actual person and you find someone that clicks, that's awesome because that will make you want to practice more and you can ask some questions. And yeah, so I've always had I've had like guitar mentors that were so important to me, like being where I am today. I never would be here without my first guitar teacher, Guy, or like my first classical teacher, Tim Phelan, or first jazz mentor, Warren Sturtinger. So yeah, I'm fully support you taking lessons with someone. But the only disclaimer I'd say is if they don't click with them, don't give up on playing the guitar.
Mm,
It's just like anything, right? You got to find it's got to be some chemistry there.
fair enough. I've played Guitar Hero before. Will that help at all?
I don't think so because I tried playing it when it was huge years ago, and I sucked. I was terrible at Guitar Hero, and that really I got brutal. Like I totally lost every single time. So it's not exactly like playing guitar, but yeah, at least it's the same word.
Fair enough. Thank you again, by the way. Like, I appreciate you giving me your time, so I don't want to keep you that much longer. But I
It's
do
almost
want.
Milo's bedtime.
Is it almost your bedtime? No. Uh, no, I think I asked you all the big stuff. But I guess obviously, what are your plans for the future? You told me your plans.
Yeah,
So I
we
guess right.
started with that, so I would definitely mention that again. So like
Yeah,
Jay and I, at this point in our lives, like we love performing. And if there's fans out there that still want to have a great time singing these songs with us and are open to hearing some new ones occasionally, then we will definitely be happy to be out there. And so we're going to get out there. 2026, look for the tour dates. We're going to announce them very soon. Like, I think we were actually going to announce them last week, but then we decided to change who one of the openers is going to be. So I don't know if it's going to happen before Christmas, but it'll be soon.
I love that.
Definitely next
I saw you
year.
guys. I saw you guys at the Danforth like 20 something before COVID, obviously. So
Yeah. Oh, that man. Okay, tell me this because we played two nights sold out, and one night I had both of my sons on stage performing the songs that they actually. My youngest son, Sammy, sings the hook on "Love Fools Anonymous," which is one of
Huh.
my favorite songs from that album. And my other son Isaac did a rap on Easter Bunny. Anyway, let's call it Ooh La La. So do you remember that?
But they were only there one of the nut shows or
Yeah, I think
both.
so. I think only one.
I
It's
honestly
okay.
don't. I kind
Just
of feel
say
like
yeah.
that would have stood out to me. So I don't remember it honestly. So I don't know. But that's awesome.
Okay, how was the show fun though?
Sorry.
Did you have a good time at the show?
Of course, I had a good time. Of course.
So well, then tell people. Yeah, I mean, like definitely. I know we put on we have such a good time performing, and most of it is coming from the energy that the audience gives back at this
Yeah.
point. Like I will, I promise to continue to rock out as long as I can on stage, and then Jay, will in his more subdued way, and we
Yeah.
have whether it's Katie, his wife often is our third member on tour. And so we'll see if she's going to be touring or if we're going to bring one of our other friends. We've had a couple other Stamdall did some tours with us. And then recently, this last summer, we had the great Fiora performing with us. So we shall see.
Listen, as you know, nostalgia will always be a thing, and it still is a thing right now. So I think you guys should lean into that. Like, obviously, you want to focus on the present, but people obviously want to hear your old stuff as well, right? So
Thank you. Well, hey, yeah, just don't be scared. We are going to play all of the old hits. If we play anything new, maybe it'll be one song. I'm a I know I want to entertain people and I don't want to let people down. So we want to make sure we play what you want to hear. So definitely like leave, comments or let us know which songs you really love and want to hear as well. Okay?